Hey guys, John here from Sonic Drive Studio. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel. About 8 months ago or so, I did a video called You're EQing Your Amp Wrong, Unlock Your Amp. I thought it was a fun video and it did pretty well, and I got a lot of response from you guys. And in that video, I basically talk about EQ settings on your amplifier and how an amplifier can benefit from EQ settings other than the noon positions in order for the amps to really sound good and really to reach their full potential. And by tweaking the controls on your amplifier, sometimes to very extreme settings, you can really bring your amp to life. And to some of you, all of this will probably sound very obvious. Anyway, in that original video, I demonstrate this concept with my Angle Fireball 100 and my Boogie Mark 535. Those are both amplifiers that really benefit from some more extreme settings, basically. If you're interested, you can watch that video up here or down here, by the way. So when I posted that video, I got a lot of response from you guys in the comment section, but also on social media, Facebook and Instagram, stuff like that. And I got a lot of positive reactions, which was absolutely awesome. So thank you guys for that. I always really appreciate it when you guys drop comments under my videos. Sometimes, even when a concept is very simple and when it seems so obvious, it can help to get a little nudge from the outside or from someone else to try to help you break out of something that you're used to, break out of your mold, basically, and break out of your habits. Because believe it or not, a lot of guitar players out there still believe that all amplifiers should sound good with all the EQ positions at noon. And no, I am not joking. I am pretty serious about this, actually. And that's okay, by the way. And I didn't actually mean that you were doing it wrong. Some people got pretty mad at me for saying that, so please don't take that too seriously, okay? Don't take it too literally. In the end, I just want to give you guys some tips that will hopefully help you in some way to get better guitar tones. But if you want to do everything your way, that's also fine, of course. That's the beauty of music and gear. You can do with it whatever you like. But yeah, it was quite funny to read some of the comments. Some guys were saying like, don't tell me I'm doing it wrong and stuff like that. So that was pretty entertaining. And I will admit that, of course, there are some amps out there also in my collection that do sound just fine with all the EQ controls in the noon positions. It just happens that those amps were designed that way. Anyway, I wanted to do a follow-up video and talk about an amplifier in my collection that I really like, that really benefits from settings other than the noon positions in order for it to sound good. And of course, I'm talking about my PRS Archon 50, one of my favorite amplifiers. In fact, on the lead channel, this amplifier sounds pretty bad when you set all the controls to noon. But yeah, this amp is great. It has 2 channels, a clean channel and a lead channel. The clean channel is fine, but I absolutely love the lead channel. It sounds fat, it sounds huge, it sounds big, it sounds ballsy. Everything you need from a great rock and metal amplifier, basically. This amp also has some pretty interesting power tubes. This one has the 6 CA7s, and the sound of these tubes supposedly falls somewhere in between 6L6s and EL34s, so that's pretty cool. Now online, a lot of people say that the Archons are dark amplifiers, but that's not really the case, to be honest. You just have to use your ears and don't be afraid to twist some knobs. It's that simple. And some of you will say, duh, of course, that's what the controls are for, and I applaud you. But really, trust me when I say that there are plenty of players still out there who either consciously or subconsciously refuse to stray too far from the noon positions. And as I explained in my old video, I've also fallen prey to that way of thinking in the past. So it's not that strange. So the lead channel on this amplifier with all the controls at noon sounds very honky, MIDI and dark, even with the bright switch on. So what I like to do on this amplifier in order to get great high gain tones is crank the treble up quite a bit, depending on how you set the bright switch. If you turn the bright switch off, you need to crank it even more. And then I also crank the presence up, so it opens up really nicely. And then to balance everything out, I also like to crank the bass control a little bit, as well as the depth control. Because a lot of openness and brightness is cool, but you also need a nice low end to sort of fill that out. And if you like a lot of mid frequencies, or if you're like a lead player or more of a classic player, then you might also want to crank the mid control quite a bit on this amplifier. It can sound pretty cool. But yeah, so it won't hurt, but just close your eyes and tweak the controls until it really sounds good to you. And don't be afraid to go to extreme settings in order for you to reach that goal. You want to get the most out of your amplifier, right? I mean, you paid money for it and you want it to sound great, right? Okay, so let's check out a little A/B comparison that I made with my settings versus all the controls at noon, so you guys can hear the difference. And with the controls at noon, I'm talking about the 3-band EQ, as well as the presence and depth controls. The volume, which is the gain control on this amplifier, and the master volume control are not at noon. And let's see what happens basically. And for this clip, I used my ESP LTD Phoenix Arctic Metal with the active EMG pickup, and the amp is being fitted to my RedSeven Amplification Amp Central reactive load, and then into an OwnHammer impulse response from the 412 RECT Essentials pack, the chunk mic mix to be precise, which sounds absolutely awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and check it out right now. Wow, what a difference, right? Turning those controls up a little bit really opened up the amplifier. It made it sound so much better. Amazing, right? So a lot of amplifiers, including the PRS Archon, were not designed to sound amazing with the EQ controls at noon. That's just nonsense, basically. And I would go so far as to say that it's not even a good starting position for this amplifier, at least not for the lead channel. So again, never be afraid to really twist those controls on your amplifier and to use your ears. So in the mix, it made a huge difference, but let's also check out that comparison with just the isolated guitar so you can really hear the amplifier up close. Let's check it out. All right, again, a huge difference, right? Correct me if I'm wrong though. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you maybe got something out of it. I hope you won't be afraid to turn the knobs on your amplifier until it sounds good and to really use your ears and just forget about the noon positions because they don't make any sense. Unless it just plain sounds good that way, of course. I mean, my Marshall JVM 410H is a great example of an amplifier, at least on the OD2 and OD1 channels, that just sounds great with the EQ positions at noon as a starting point. But that's an exception, really. But who knows, maybe this video will help you guys to unlock your amplifier a little bit more. This way of thinking has certainly helped me a lot to get the most out of my amplifiers. That's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons down below, as that really helps the channel out. I'd hugely appreciate that. And you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers!